You are listening to the Earplug Podcast Network.
James Harden wouldn't go to the game wearing outdated fashion, so why would he choose an outdated sports drink?
I wouldn't.
He wouldn't. This is Body Armor. More natural, more electrolytes, better sports drink. Thanks, Gatorade. We'll take it from here.
What the Rock is cooking.
Welcome to Tuesday night's sports edition with myself, DW, Mr. Tom Greer from Grindhouse Radio.
Hello.
And obviously Hank Snacks Pelton from Chase Sports and Glens Falls Green Jackets. Now, hopefully all of you like the camera selection tonight. Please, I'm trying. We're a new studio. I need another camera.
Right.
We're working on things. We're just hopefully, it's good. I got my body armor on. I'm repping my boys from Ross Brewing out of New Jersey. Hank's got the big giant monkey on his chest right there. Earplug Podcast. We got to send Mr. Greer some earplug.
Yes, if you have I want that hat, that Earplug Podcast hat you have is awesome. Is it absolutely awesome?
Okay, I will send you one.
I tried to tell him a shirt design. We need to put the monkey head on the front and the monkey butt on the back.
No, there's no monkey butt. There's no monkey butt. No monkey butt. No,
I can wear my shirt.
Totally. No, it's gotta be him like sticking his head through the hole, so you just see the whole. Yeah, exactly. The whole backside of the monkey and like his arms on the side of your back, like he's sticking his head through a hole. That would be hysterical.
Is that a monkey ass?
Yeah, just don't wrap it around your waist, or it'll look really weird.
Or at least on the back end, anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
That'd be called the funky monkey.
The funky monkey. That's right. Listen, hey, I'll get you a hat, Tom. It's one of my favorite hats, not because I designed it, but it is one of my favorite hats.
Whatever your largest size is, like whatever largest size you have, that's what it's got to be. Like if you think it's too big, it's 1,000% not. I promise you.
All they come in is small, medium, large, and large, extra large. That's it.
Large, extra large, large, extra large.
It'll be the same hat you're wearing, the same body armor style, same one.
It's perfect. This hat fits perfectly.
Nice. Well, everybody, welcome. SF, how are you? So I want to start off with something. This is obviously we're a sports edition, but I've been listening to Grindhouse Radio quite a bit in the last couple of weeks.
Oh, why? Thank you.
Tom fancies himself, and I think he's a little bit more knowledgeable than the entire crew at JHR. Sorry, Brim.
Oh, well, you could say, now that's just a fact. I mean,
Jesus Christ. Wow. When it comes to pop culture.
Okay.
Tom seems to be. I think Tom's more informed than the guy who does the comic book corner on GHR. And I'm sorry if anybody of all the crew, Brim, I'm sorry. I listened to last week's episode, and man, Brim and Steve-O were way off on anything they were talking about, and I can't remember exactly the topic, but you guys were way off. I was screaming at the TV, at the computer screen while doing work going, I need to be on this goddamn show because you guys don't know what the hell you're talking about.
Well, we need to make that happen then. You don't know what it was?
I forgot what it was. Hi, Mel. I forgot what it was. It had something to do with Marvel and something with the movies going on. And Steve Zambito was really trying. He was really trying. But then you came in with some points, and I'm like, yep, sorry. I think Tom should do sports and the comic book corner that's over on GHR because he's nailing shit right out of the park.
It's okay. My knowledge is very vast. It just happens.
You're the Cliff of our network. You're Cliff Clavin of our network.
Thing is, though, I will say, as much as I like to pat myself on the back, I'm not smarter than Kevin. Kevin, who does our comic book corner,
yes, I joke.
He's a comic book encyclopedia.
Yeah. I want to, when I've been listening to him, I wanted to pit him against Michael Zapsik. There's nobody that knows more about comic books than Zapsik, but Kevin's pretty damn close.
He's good. Kevin is but he doesn't understand how good he is. That's the problem. Is like
that's a good thing.
He's very modest.
Well, that's good. We don't want an arrogant comic book guy. Then you're a fanboy.
Yeah.
But anyway, we lost somebody great this week, and that's why I wanted to kind of maybe even a moment of silence. Chadwick Boseman, who played T'Challa in Marvel, not only for the fact that was he a amazing hero and probably the perfect, just like Robert Downey Jr. is the perfect Tony Stark. I don't think you could find anybody better. Chadwick Boseman was the perfect T'Challa and the Wakanda King, but his events and activities and things that he did outside of the movie universe made him a real hero. I mean, the charity and many charities, and he always willing to give out. And the other thing that's great about him, obviously, we have celebrities that have speak out, whether it's politics, whether it's Trump, whether it's a charity. They don't seem to get the respect. Like Boseman doesn't give a shit. When he says something, he's going to say it, whether the PR or the backlash is bad. These are my feelings. This is what I'm standing up for. And not to sound corny, that's what a king of a country does. I don't want to sound corny, but that's what a man in power does.
You're right.
And for us to lose him so soon, so young for colon cancer.
I actually just watched the story of Jackie Robinson, and he did a phenomenal job.
42 was great.
Yes.
I hadn't seen it, so I totally forgot about it. And then somebody had mentioned it, and I saw some of the write-ups and stuff like that, so I actually watched it. And he did, and the thing is that he had the cancer for the time frame that he had done all these movies.
Yeah.
Majority of them.
And he was fighting that during these movies.
Right, and he never stopped.
He never wavered.
The community service stuff and speaking his mind and all that. He just never stopped. He kept going to the fight. And a lot of people were surprised because nobody knew about it.
Yeah.
I was shocked. I didn't know he was dealing with cancer because another thing, in Hollywood, it's very hard to keep shit under wraps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this was really tight-lipped. I mean, this was a shock. I'm like,
well,
really?
What happened was, I mean, he was on, I think he did an Instagram live not too long ago, maybe like a month ago. And there were people concerned that it was like, there are people jumping to the wrong end, like of the spectrum, saying that maybe he was doing drugs or something like that. But like he got super skinny in a lot of these lives. And people were like, what's happening? Because you're right. Nobody had any idea. I didn't know he was 43. I thought the dude was in his mid 30s. Like, I had no idea, but
still too young.
Yeah, it's absolutely. Yeah, no, absolutely. Still way too young. But it's unbelievably sad, dude. It is so crazy. I mean, 42 itself also, that's like a top 5 sports movie in general at this point. Like, I don't know, for those that haven't watched it, you absolutely should.
Even if you're not into sports, the movie is amazing.
Oh, holds up. Yeah, absolutely. It's the story behind it. Yeah, the story behind Jackie Robinson is just absolutely amazing and well worth the watch. I don't know anybody else. Like the same way you said he was perfect for T'Challa.
Yeah.
This dude, he was the one that was supposed to represent Jackie Robinson.
And it didn't get a lot of attention compared to his other movies. Which in a way, I kind of like that. I love those sleeper movies that you find these hidden gems. Granted, he should have gotten more credit for what he did, but I love the hidden gems of either, an actor before he gets big does something like Jackie Robinson or does these kind of things. And then obviously with Marvel, he just blew right the hell up.
Oh yeah. Without a doubt.
Obviously the minor point of now Marvel moving forward, I feel like I'm on with Lewis Perry from the pop culture edition here on a Friday night, but it's Tuesday. What's going to happen with the future of Marvel? T'Challa was supposed to be an integral part with the Illuminati that was rumored. Obviously, there was also the rumor with Namor, and there was a big feud with them in the comics. Namor and T'Challa were two obviously warring kings of empires. I will tell you what, if I was a man of color, I don't think I would want to pick. I would not want to be picked to be put in his shoes. I don't think I would be too scared to do that. Yeah, Tom.
Sorry. That's my thing. I do it on GHR all the time. Like I'll just raise my hand. I don't want this to come off as insensitive in any way.
Yeah.
Just let me say this here. Now, these movies, they have a lot at stake. Like a lot of money is put in behind these movies. They pay these actors a whole lot of money.
Yeah.
So now, he was fighting this disease for like 4 years. So is it would it be shocking to us to know that Disney or Marvel had an idea of this like disease, that him being sick? Do you think that they may just have a contingency plan in place, like in case of emergency, break glass, this is where we're pivoting? Because because this is not something as simple as recasting War Machine with oh my God, what's his name?
Oh no, that's the character's name. Oh yeah, what the hell is his name?
There was Don Cheadle.
Don Cheadle.
This isn't as simple as just making Don Cheadle War Machine. Like the Black Panther was huge. T'Challa was huge. You can't just give somebody else the role. Like you gotta replace the Black Panther. Like as somebody else has to take up the mantle, not T'Challa anymore.
Right.
There's talk that they're gonna have him killed off.
Mm-hmm.
I've been reading some of the
him killed off, and that could be.
And then have his sister take over.
Yeah, the sister was a rumor. The sister would take over the mantle. Michael B. Jordan, who was the warring tribe leader, he spoke out on Twitter. I don't think he would take it out of respect. I mean, he doesn't need the money, and I don't think you're being insensitive, Tom. The suits don't care, and I'll be honest with you. Yes, they may care, but this is a major billion-dollar company. Yeah, they may have done something. I mean, they have to protect their assets. We're not trying to be insensitive, but yeah, they might have. My other thing is, I'm wondering if now this could be insensitive. I'm wondering if they even gave two shits. Let's be honest. Some people do. I know some companies that don't care. So it's wondering, they may care to your face, but at the end of the day, hey, we better figure out something what's going to go on here and rewrite the storyline that we already
have
planned.
A feeling they didn't know that much of it.
They might not have.
He was very discreet and keeping it quiet, where it shocked a lot of people that didn't realize. I mean, maybe his closer friends like Robert Downey Jr. and those guys that he had actually had a good bond with, possibly. He told them out of respect, and they didn't say anything to anybody because he knew that they would be silent on it, and he didn't want to do it. But I don't know. I mean, you got to do it right. You've got to find, if you're going to replace him with anybody that's going to replace him has got to be the right person.
I wouldn't do it, and I'll tell you what, I don't care how much money you gave me, I wouldn't do it. I just wouldn't do it. No. Obviously, if they did give it to me, I already don't need the money. I'm an already established actor, so I can find something else. I definitely wouldn't do it out of respect. I'm like, nope, I'm out. That's the same thing with Iron Man. Who would step in to be Tony Stark? Now they are thinking about making his son, who's from the future, a future Iron Man down the road. But again, I wouldn't step in Tony Stark's shoes.
And there was talks about the kid from the potato gun there, the one that was sitting at the end when they did the funeral.
Yeah,
he was there, and they were saying that was going to be kind of the torch.
Yeah,
the handing of the torch. But with the Black Panther, that's. Some people liked the comic and some people didn't like.
Well, the comic never really was popular enough. He was better as
now.
He was better as a co-host, a supporting character in Fantastic Four, supporting character in the Avengers when he was an Avenger, supporting character when Namor had his short run. He was never great in his own book. He was a great supporting character, just kind of like the Hulk. Before we go too deep, we'll go. Yeah. We could go another hour on this stuff. Now that we know that Tom is a pop culture guy, I can't wait. Now this is good. Maybe I should have Tom on the pop culture edition one night.
I'm with it.
Awesome. But again, much respect out to friends and family of Boseman, Chadwick Boseman, and R.I.P. And obviously, it is somewhat sports related as well. I mean, playing Jackie Robinson, that's got to be a huge honor. I've never heard any reports or read it. I shouldn't say I've never read any articles about what Boseman had said about that, but I'm sure he was honored to play such a heroic sports person as well, too. So,
without a doubt.
So, yes, this is an odd start to the sports edition, but again, this is somebody huge. I mean, he didn't impact just the pop culture people in movie. He impacted so many people's lives through the charities and the events and the things that he stood up for.
He impacted a lot of athletes. A lot of athletes are comic book. They're fanboys.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
So anyway, if you do in your own time, maybe a moment of silence and just give respect to a great man taken too young. And it's funny, don't we always say that though? It's always too young. There's something wrong with that. That's a whole thing. That's a whole nother show too. There's just something wrong with that. But anyway, if you guys are just joining us, it is the Tuesday night sports edition with Mr. Tom Greer and Mr. Hank Snacks Pelton. Some news. I asked the guys on Mondays and Tuesdays. Hit me up with your topics. And I put out there, we should do some more cornhole. We should do more NASCAR. We should do more ping pong. Ping pong is a social distance sport. The table's longer than 6 feet.
Lawn bowling.
Lawn bowling, yes.
Lawn bowling sounds fun.
Darts. Let's bring jarts
What's
back.
lawn bowling?
I don't know what lawn bowling is either. So let's bring jarts back. That definitely is 10 feet apart. And if you get stabbed in the foot, you get an extra 5 points.
Well, that was fun when you all stood in a circle, threw it straight up in the air, and then tried to see who was going to stand there the longest.
So, since the seasons have started, obviously NFL looks like it's going to start on track, but baseball has been going. Mets are struggling. But as each sport goes into the season, I get less and less involved in the sports aspect because I don't want to say I'm a fair weather fan, but I'm not big into the stats. I'm not a big baseball person. I like my football teams. I watch them, but I'm not a big stats person. So we leave a lot of this to Tom. And I have 4 fucking articles about baseball today that are like, what the hell's going on? Excuse my language. No, you know what? Don't excuse my language because I understand it's baseball. It's America, but it's not America's sports. NFL. Give us some more goddamn NFL news and not coach.
I understand you, but I will say this again. We are at, I know today, I know it is September today. Today is September 1st, but until next Thursday, it is still baseball season. And you can't have a sports show without talking baseball in the summertime.
What happens next Thursday?
Baseball doesn't really end until October. So you actually have to hold on to baseball until October. We're just going to get filled with a whole bunch of football news come Thursday because that's when the season starts. So we'll be able to have both.
Oh yeah, baby. NFL, baby. September.
But you better be ready. Come February, baseball's right back because then we got pitchers and catchers reporting to spring training and hopefully, crossing our fingers, a full baseball season.
I wouldn't be surprised if things settle down enough that you see these spring leagues spruce up or pop up down in Florida and all the warmer states.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm hoping that they have this figured out to a point where we can still have a full baseball season next year where we're like come February when pitchers and catchers have to report. Maybe there still won't be a lot of fans in the stadium, but at the very least we could get some real games and maybe more than 60 games.
Now, before we get into our main topics for this evening, Tom, do you think, and I think we've kind of hinted to this, and Hank definitely chime in. Do you think that there will be a player strike next year? We have hinted to this now, probably about 5 episodes in a row.
Next year?
Yeah.
No, like next the 2021 season.
Yes.
Will not. No, there won't be a strike. The following season, yeah, there's probably going to be a strike.
You think so? Why?
Well, because of just how ugly it was trying to get them to play baseball this year. They have to do all of that again, except flesh it out for an entire season. Like they have to come up with an entirely new collective bargaining agreement between the players and the owners, and both of those sides hate each other. It's like gasoline and water. So
now, why would they wait until 2022 and not 2021?
Well, because it's not because technically the players really can't do anything in 2021 because the agreement's not up. Like they still have to play out.
It's still holding the 2021 season.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but then after next season's up, they got to come up with a new one. And I'm just kind of not confident that it's going to happen because of just how ugly it was to get them to play 60 games. You couldn't get them to play 60 games. And we're expecting them to have a whole agreement fleshed out and figured out. No, that's not going to happen.
Show me the money. No,
we're in trouble.
Look at the year that the NFL went on strike, and then they had all the people that were called them the scrubs that were going across.
Across the line. Yeah.
I got news for you. You got a minor league baseball group out there that isn't playing at all this year, and if they don't get to play a full season or things happen next year, I bet you a lot of them will cross.
You think we'll get scrubs?
You could get scrub baseball.
I don't know. Well, yeah. Well, I mean, what was it? I think you brought it up a few months ago that there was I don't know if it was Jeff Passan from ESPN. Somebody was writing an article where they predicted the death of baseball, that we're gonna have. They're not gonna play much this summer. We're gonna have a season next year. They're going to strike the following year, lose basically all of their fans. and the baseball that you and I would be watching will be AAA baseball. It'll be minor league baseball because the teams won't have anybody, like nobody will come back because everybody's sick and tired of listening to millionaires and billionaires.
Could that end up being like college football? I know a lot of football fans say they prefer to watch college football over the NFL because the action's better.
No, because the college football, there's history. You know, there's history, there's tradition, there's rivalry. You don't have that in minor league baseball. You don't have that. You just have a whole bunch of teams that are good for their towns. Like, you know, the Binghamton Mets. No, I mean, they're not. I don't think they're a minor league team anymore, or they're not the Mets anymore. But the Binghamton Mets, Binghamton just liked them. You know, it wasn't like, you know, it was like everybody from around New York State went to go watch them. You know, it was like everybody went from out of the country to go watch them. You know, it was.
Well, I guess I could say about our Dragons, you know, our local baseball team, or when the White Sox were here.
Right. They were farm teams that were feeders for
the big
major league. So like when we had the White Sox, that was the feeders for the Chicago.
It's like when we had the Red Wings here. That was the feeder for them for Detroit.
Adirondack for the Detroit Red Wings.
Well, it seems things appear to be working out for Steve Cohen in more ways than one, and we're talking a little bit about Mets. That might be possibly the only positive thing that's going on with the Mets right now.
Yeah.
Not only did the billionaire end up back on path toward buying the Mets after his initial deal earlier this year fell through, he's getting a better deal that was reported by Sportico Tuesday that Cohen's final bid on the Mets values the team at $2.3 billion. Bullshit. $205 million less than what the team was valued when he first tried to buy the franchise in February. Cohen is in exclusive talks with the Mets to buy the franchise from the Wilpons with Jennifer Lopez, Allegra, J-Lo, and A-Rod, and Josh Harris, Dave Blitzer groups bowing out. Insiders told the Post Thornton McKinney, I get the last names wrong, McKinney, that the Mets president and co-owner Saul Katz played a big role in getting talks with Cohen going. Once it began clear, Cohen's bid was the highest. I really have no stake in this. I'm shocked that they're worth $2.35 billion. But Tom, as a diehard Mets fan, I'm sure has his take on this. Should we start the ramp music now or after?
No, you can do that right now. You can do that right now because I can't tell you how unbelievably happy I am that those pieces of human garbage, the Wilpons, are about to be out of Queens or out of owning the Mets. Like, I felt like my cousin sent me this link and I damn near fell down in my kitchen because I just got so excited. I can't put I lived every year. I lived for something bad to happen to the Wilpons. Like maybe some scandal will come out.
That's kind of hard, Tom. That's kind of harsh, man.
Someone slips down his steps or something. No, because the Wilpons are awful people. They are absolutely scum of the earth human beings who love nothing more than to torture and brutalize Mets fans. They don't give a crap about me. Now, a man worth $14 billion grew up a Mets fan, is now buying the team and just made what is a cheap organization the richest team in baseball. We are the Mets with the richest owner in baseball. I cannot be happier. I want to take the Wilpons luggage and bring it to the airport. I don't even care if they might not even be leaving the state. I'll do it for them anyway. You know, like I'm over the moon. I cannot be any more excited.
Is there somebody there to check your blood pressure?
No,
it's high. It's very high. That's how serious this is, though. The Wilpons have been ruining my life for 27 years. 27 years. The Wilpons have ruined my life. And now they're gone. Finally. We are ridding ourselves of those demons. Thank you.
And there's Tom riding down the street in his bicycle saying, goodbye, I'm taking my bat and going home.
The prosecution rests.
I did joke in the middle of that rant was that, you know, just because he's the richest doesn't mean you can make it to the playoffs. So you say this, that it is the richest team in baseball.
Yeah.
But honestly, what does that make? That does not make the team better, does it?
It doesn't make the team better, but what it does tell me is that somebody who cares about this team doesn't care about the fact that the team is in an immense amount of debt, doesn't care that the team's been a dumpster fire for the last, probably since 2015. Because I'll give them 2015. They were in the World Series. I'm not going to thumb my nose to that. But what I will say is I have my entire life of watching what the Wilpons did to the Mets and mismanage money, lose all their money in Ponzi schemes, put the wrong people in power, basically bring in a GM who's never been a GM before, who just trades away all our young talent. What Steve Cohen shows to me is a new lifeblood of hope that can at least be somebody that grew up a Mets fan and has the money to back up what he says. Like, he'll go out and clean house. He's going to bring in, hopefully, again, I don't know, but hopefully bring in the people that he needs to make this a functioning organization. Because up until ever, the Mets have been a joke organization who mishandle everything. So if this guy can run companies and get himself $14 billion, I have no doubt in my mind that he's just going to do whatever he can to make this team a functioning organization and a good team. It might take a little bit, but I'll take that over the Wilpons who mismanage money on a daily basis.
So is the sale final as of right now?
It's not final as of right now, but the Wilpons have to sell the team because they're just in tremendous amounts of debt and can't pay anymore.
Cohen's the highest bidder, and there doesn't seem to be anybody in line.
Cohen's the only bidder. He's the only bidder.
If he buys it, so if they make, say, within the next few days or the next week, you think he's going to clean house right as soon as the season's over with?
When Steve Cohen takes, this is just me personally. I don't know definitively, but when Steve Cohen takes the role, like he gets the keys to the stadium, I think he's leveling everything. Like GM gone, analytics guy is gone, everybody in the front office is gone, all the coaches probably gone, because this guy's going to see what is a rotting pig and going to try and turn it into something delicious. Like that's what he's going to do. He's just going to see what is nothing but a dying carcass, and he's going to try to revive it. That's what he's going to do.
You can't touch this.
You guys don't. That's a problem. It's like you guys just haven't known me long enough to just see.
No, Tom. I've listened to the last 5 weeks of GHR. I've seen you go at Brim hardcore. And I heard the other day about a legal dispute going on. You're like, no, that's not how it is. And that's not probable cause. And I'm like, holy crap, what the hell happened here? I'm like, oh my God. And Brim's like, whoa, wait, hey, whoa. And Brim weighs like 400 times more than Tom. Tom's like, no, that's not how it is. And this is how it should be. I'm like, holy crap.
What I'm saying is like, you haven't known me long enough to just see the actual scars that the New York Mets have put on me and the damage that they have done to I'm a pessimist. Like I used to be a very happy and positive individual, like to look on the brighter side, glass half full kind of guy. 27 years of being a Mets fan, I'm the biggest pessimist in the entire world. I just expect everything that can go wrong usually does go wrong.
So Hank did bring up a good point. I mean, literally, when you get the keys to the city, you're getting the golden key to the city pretty much.
Yeah.
Is he going to clean house? Obviously, he's been and works with this for a while now. This is not the first time that he's thought about buying the Mets and where it's been announced.
Yeah.
He's probably got a team lined up and he's probably got a back staff ready to go. You're not worth $1,400 billion or whatever he's worth without doing your homework, without doing what you need to do. Now, you're this excited about Cohen buying the Mets.
Yep.
Do you know who I would be excited about buying the Jets?
Who? Okay.
Gary Vaynerchuk, because it's right down the same damn path. Because I know damn well when Gary V buys the Jets, the key to the city, everybody's fucking gone. I'm telling you right now, he will clean house probably just as much as Cohen. And it's funny how two billionaires are going for their sports teams. Now, in the long run, depending on the sport, I know, guys, when you own a NASCAR team, you don't make shit for money. It's prestige. You don't make a lot of money. It's going to the drivers. It's going as an owner of a team. You don't make a lot of money. I don't know the percentages of being an owner of an NFL team or a major league, baseball team, but it can't be a ton. That's a
lot. No, teams are worth a lot. Teams are worth a lot of money.
What they're worth and what an owner makes are two different things. I mean, we're talking about on paper. Listen, we could say Donald Trump's one of the most richest men in the world. Yeah, supposedly on paper, he's filed Chapter 11. I don't know how many times, but he doesn't have a pot to piss in when it comes to ask for money out of his pocket.
Well, if they're the owner, then whatever the team is worth, they're worth. That's their.
Yeah, but that's on paper. That's not liquidation. And does the owner get paid? You know, when NASCAR,
without a doubt,
well, I am sure they do. But I'm comparing. You know, when you're spending that kind of money, what is the ORI return on that? You're obviously not going to make. What is it, $205 billion or whatever it was, or 25 billion, 0.3, whatever. I forgot the exact number. You're not going to make that ROI back in 5 years. That's for damn sure. You know, so obviously there's perks involved with this, but I'd love to see the paperwork behind the negotiations, what an actual owner makes or is really worth. I mean, on paper is one thing. We know that, he bought the Mets, and on paper, this is what it's worth. But that doesn't mean that's how much you have.
Well, yeah, the Wilpons were in a lot of trouble because they were in an insane amount of debt with the Mets. Like, I'm pretty sure that like they I think there was another like 50 million in debt or something like that off of the building of Citi Field. Like, they're still paying that off. So
the Mets are worth 2.35 billion. It's 250 million less than what they team that was valued when they first tried to buy the franchise in February. So if we know anything too of buying deals, and Hank would know this too, when you buy a team, you take on that debt. That doesn't just walk away.
No.
So he's now he's got a mortgage, and probably the Wilpons, they probably remortgaged that stadium a few times to pay off some.
Well, it depends on how they overextended
right,
themselves.
Of course, right.
If they overextended themselves and put, like you said, in paper, and they use that as a backing, then that's what the sale is. So like you said, this guy's been a fan of the Mets forever, and he's been in business. He's worth what, 14 billion? You said,
yeah.
So he's done his homework. So he's probably done his homework to make sure that what he's offering them, he doesn't care if they got to pay for it. That comes out of their pocket. He'll clean house on the other stuff, but
if you find that article, that's great that you say NFL owners make 20 million to 500 million. If you have something on paper or any online, I'd like to see it. Anybody can say that. I'm not discrediting you, but if you can back that up with a link or something,
it's not nothing. Like the owners of these teams make it a significant a lot, because that was the reason. That's the reason that you have. That's the reason we had. Basically a work stoppage in baseball up until this season started with 60 games. The reason was the players felt like the owners were negotiating in bad faith. They weren't. The players felt like the owners weren't telling them exactly how much they were making. They felt like they were making more. So, like, I know the owners definitely get a large sum of.
I'm not disagreeing with that. I am totally not disagreeing with that as far as how much they get. And again, let's look at this. Thanks, Mike. Look at it this way. Okay, 20 million to 500 million from Michael Uhas. Let's use that as a basis. How much are they spending? How much is the team costing them to? I mean, is that their own personal payroll? That's the other thing. How does that work? We don't know the ins and outs, what the contract deal is. If they're getting paid 50 to 5 or 20 to 500 million, is that their pay? So they're not having any expenditures. You know what I'm saying, for the team. So I mean, okay, that's great. Still $2.35 billion. And let's say he's on the low end of 20 million. He's going to take a while to pay that off. And I'm sure he's got other expenditures on top of that as well.
It's usually a percentage.
You base it like off 20% of the team or 30% of the team.
You base it off a percentage. And then you still have your executive board and all that stuff. But even though that you own the team, everybody's getting paid.
Right. My next question to you, Tom, we know owners that are active and we know owners that aren't, that just kind of sit on the sidelines. How active do you think Cohen's going to be?
Steve Cohen's going to be the most active. We're finally going to be a New York team.
He's going.
We're finally going to be a guy. We're finally going to be trying to sign superstars. We're not going to have to sign bargain basement. I'm not going to have to worry about the Todd Frazier's of the world, even though he's back this year. Because they traded for him from Texas.
Right.
But we will have JT Realmuto is probably the best catcher in the game. He's a free agent in Philly next year. If the Wilpons still own the team, you bet your ass the Mets aren't signing that dude. Now that Stevie Cohen's here, now that Uncle Stevie is sitting in power, he's absolutely going to be sending some money JT Realmuto's way, because he's got the money. This excuse me for cursing, but Steve Cohen's got fuck you money. This dude does not care that he just had to pull off $2.4 billion to buy the Mets. He did it because I can, because he's, he just wanted to whip it out and flop it on the table. That's That's kind of what he wanted to do in this situation. So totally, the dude has so much money. He's going to do nothing but throw money at this problem and see how he can fix it. That's basically what's happening. I don't know the man, but this is what I'm guessing. This dude just randomly, he likes diners, drive-ins, and dives. There's an article going around. There was an article that went around in like 2015. He just wanted to be on that show, paid Guy Fieri a whole bunch of money. It was on an episode of Diners, Drive-ins, and Dives, like for just no reason other than I like to eat food. Guy Fieri.
What do you do when you have that much money? You just do what you want to do.
Spend it. Exactly. He spent. It's just like him buying the Mets is like you or I walking into 7-Eleven and buying a bag of chips. Like that's basically what he did. He's like, I want to own a sports team. I'm just going to own the Mets now. That's basically what he did.
Steve Cohen, if you're listening, we'd love for you to pay to be on this podcast and talk to one of your most diehard Mets fans. Come on, I'll take any amount of money for you to come on in. And Tom would, and you know what? Even why don't you throw in a rental car and a hotel for Tom so he can meet you in person? I think you could afford that. I think you could afford that.
He doesn't want me to meet him in person because I'd hug him and just never let go. I'd just be like, thank you.
Great. Then we'll have a sexual harassment lawsuit going.
You just saved my life, dude. You just everything, like every negative thought I had about the Mets, you are about to change, and I can't wait.
Okay. This might be a stupid question, and you're probably going to laugh at me. So, okay, he's rich, and he's the owner. Yeah. You're saying that with him being in charge, now they're going to spend money to buy higher paid players. How does that money happen? It's not his personal money, correct?
No, I mean it's his team. He could spend whatever money he wants. Like if he's got, if he wants to be like,
he's in debt, how much money does it really have?
It's not necessarily like whatever the team makes is what he has to put into other players. You know, like he could. If Steve Cohen's worth like $14 billion, he can pay whatever he wants to whatever player he wants.
Yeah, but isn't that coming from the team, not his personal pocket?
I mean, it'd probably come from both. You know, he'll probably come.
Would that be legal? Could you pay a player out of your pocket?
It's an investment
because it's his team. He can put however much money into the team as he wants.
Well, honestly, I would think it'd be stupid that you're paying a player out of your personal pocket.
Well, I mean, it's an investment, and
of course
he'll get it back. I mean, in the long run, that's the thing. He's putting money into something that he's hoping to get the return back. Like you were saying, he'll get the return back over time. He might not get it right away, but if he signs the right players and spends that money up front, you know, like you were saying, the catcher. I mean, just in marketing and merchandise and his playing ability and all that stuff, and the notoriety that it's going to bring to the Mets team, it pays dividends off of that.
Right. No, okay.
The money that he gets if the Mets win the World Series is astronomical. As much as everybody loves the Yankees.
Well, simmer down now. Hold on.
I'm not calling my shot, dude. I'm still worried about being a Cubs fan and dying before I could see a World Series. You know, so like that's still a thing. But what I'm saying is as much as everybody loves the Yankees and the Yankees have the history of New York, yada yada yada, blah blah blah. New York is a National League town. Mm-hmm. When the Mets are good, it's absolute pandemonium. Mm-hmm. In Queens, in the 5 boroughs, on Long Island, it's pandemonium here. So when and if Steve Cohen can get the Mets into relevancy, they're contending every year, and maybe just maybe win a World Series, the dude's gonna make every dollar back that he spent either getting the team, or he's gonna make his money back for whatever player he signs to a big contract.
What do you think the time frame? You think he can turn it around in 2, 3, or 5 years?
I mean, it really depends because they do still have they have a good core of players. Like they do have a lot of really good players right now. They just have to fix the bullpen and maybe get ourselves a better catcher. They need a better man. I think he could probably have the Mets a regular, consistent playoff team. In realistically, well, one, they could be next year. At the very least, it'll be 2, maybe 3 years. They'll be just a consistent playoff team, but I think that they'll be fine. I think assuming his money is effective next year, like he is owner and chief next year, the Mets will be a playoff team, hands down. Easy.
Are we going to be saying, can you smell what Steve Cohen's cooking this next year? Holy crap, here we go.
Dude, I'm getting a jersey. I want to get a jersey with Cohen's name put on the back of it. I don't know what number I want to put, but I just want, because the man is, he is literally the only thing that has brought joy into my life recently, except for the Islanders. The Islanders have. Let me rephrase that. The Islanders have.
Well, we're glad that Tom is in a good mood finally after a COVID MLB.
Dude, I'm ready for the season to be over already. Get through the season. I want Steve
next year.
I just want next year. Give me Steve Cohen. Get
Why?
the
So you
whole
want
out of
Korean
here.
baseball all over again? You don't want to go back to Korean baseball so soon, do you?
Well, no, I mean, like, because regular baseball is going to be back. I'm not going to have to worry about Korean baseball. We're going to have a season next, full season next year.
Let's see what happens. Let's not count our chickens before they're hatched.
Came up on my screen or my TV the other day.
What's that?
Korean baseball.
And
I wish you guys could see the sweatshirts I made. I made when Steve Cohen was gonna buy the Mets back in like February. When it was rumored that it was gonna happen. For Christmas, I bought my brothers 2 hoodies. One of them is Moses parting the Red Sea, and I photoshopped Steve Cohen's head on Moses's body. And then the other one was, I think, Jesus sitting at a table with all of his disciples with like a big halo around, like aura around his head. And I just photoshopped Steve Cohen's head on that. And those were on 2 separate sweatshirts, and I gave them to my brothers.
Oh my God, that's too funny.
Great. The Moses one was probably my favorite.
The Moses one? That's
the
funny.
Moses one.
You'll have to send me pictures of those. But we'll keep it going baseball and keep Tom on his high before we get into some NFL news. Padres get Clevenger. Marlins acquire Marte at deadline. Baseball's pandemic delayed trade deadline was quite a day. San Diego act boldly once again. Miami actually strengthened its roster. Mike Clevenger, Starling Marte, Archie Bradley, and Todd Frazier were on the move. Lance Lynn and Dylan Bundy stayed put. The contending Padres got Clevenger in a multiplayer trade with Cleveland, bolstering their rotation Monday in a rare deadline deal between contenders. The surprising Marlins reeled in the dynamic Marte for their outfield. There was a lot of talk about pitchers, Lynn and Bundy, but Lynn stayed at Texas. Well, poor man. And the Angels held on to Bundy. So obviously trading is working. It is delayed. Even with COVID, there's deals to be made. Obviously, I mean, we just talked about Cohen, but still there's moves to be made. Tom, what do you got to say?
Well, I mean, it was pretty cool that the trade deadline actually was a thing, because like that's like I don't know about you, Hank, like watching sports. Like trade deadline day is like super. It's one of the most exciting times in sports. Like it really is. Like then that's when you figure out what your team really thinks of itself. And I'm actually really excited to see the Padres be awesome, because like they're never this good. And they finally have like a really cool young group. Their jerseys are absolutely amazing looking. Like I'm happy to see them making a push. Like everybody's been saying since the beginning of the year, it's going to be Yankees Dodgers. I want to see the Padres actually.
Tell us how you really feel,
we should
Tom.
use that as a sound effect. That came out pretty good.
I know, right? Tell us how you really feel, Tom. Wow, you're letting your hair down today. This is awesome.
No, I mean, like, but that's it. Like, it was a cool trade deadline. Like, I mean, I hate the Marlins, but I guess they had to make that move because they need somebody. They need another bat in their lineup, and they're not out of it because they extended the playoffs. So, like, the first 2 teams in every league are going to make the playoffs, and I know that which is absolutely insane. So the Marlins had to do it.
I still have my chance of winning $20.
You still have your chance of winning $20. I mean, like, I'm a lot less upset than I was last week, but the Mets do still have a shot. I think they might be a game or 2 out, I think right now.
So for the rest of you, the trade deadline is normally July 31st, but it was pushed back when the start of the season was delayed because of the coronavirus. Love the vid. With the shortened season and financial uncertainty brought on by the pandemic, there was a talk that it might be unusually quiet day, but there was plenty of activity instead, spurred in by the expanded playoff format for this year. So obviously there's money being spent and moved more so than I think anybody expected to with the season. I mean, not even talking about Cohen. We're talking about players and moves and trades. Yeah. There's money. They're planning for next year. Would you take it, Tom, that they might even, obviously this season's important. That's why they played the season. Yes, it's 60 games. But do you think the owners are like, all right, let's get through the season, even though we got players that had the COVID, tested positive, and they're like, we're planning for next year already. Screw it. We don't really give a shit if we make the playoffs this year or whatever. We really want to kill it next in 2021.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure that there's definitely teams saying that.
These moves kind of make it. I mean,
totally. I mean, like everybody that traded away a star player or a big time player is currently either hoping that they can still stay alive or just preparing for next year and trying to retool a little bit because
the
thing is,
Padres made a smaller deal too, and they picked up right at the end of the deadline Taylor Williams for Seattle for for a player to be named. So I mean, there's deals going on left and right. Obviously, there's money, there's moving, there's there's being plans going. I as an owner, I'd be like, all right, do your best for the 60 games, but if I got the money and I can make the deals, I'm gonna bank. I'm gonna load up our team for next year.
Is it the teams that are making the deals for the better players, bringing them to them because they're in the playoff hunt?
Oh yeah, that's true too. I guess.
That's mostly what it is. It's like the Padres did this because they look right now and like it's a 60-game season. Their window of opportunity to win is down. It is down the line because the team's for the most part really young. But it's also right now because they're playing amazing. They have one of the best players, if not the best player in baseball right now, for Fernando Tatis Jr. Like they would be stupid to not try and add to the team. Like not like because you're not like that's what the trade deadline is. It's being able to add to your team to make you that much better than your competition ahead of you. So like they probably are looking for down the line, but right now all the Padres specifically are concerned with are right now this year winning a World Series or at least trying to win the World Series. So. It's a little.
Who's got the best chance right now to go into
the World Series? Oof. Yeah. I'm picking the Padres. I mean, like, assuming the Mets can sneak in, I'll put my blinders on and pretend like the Mets can be that good. But I'm proud. I think the Padres can do it. Absolutely. I mean, the Dodgers are still awesome.
The asterisk thing. I know that's going to be a big play.
There's no such thing as an asterisk in sports.
I know. I understand that, but people are going to. It's going to be. Well, that was during the COVID and it was a shortened season.
Yeah, whatever. It doesn't count.
I know all the people that lost, all the sore losers that lost this season who say, yeah,
2020 was a mulligan.
Well, I mean, and it came down to when they were discussing about the same amount of games. Is everybody going to actually have the same amount of games? Because that is going to be a deciding factor on the whole thing. Well, listen, everybody played the same amount of games or over the minimum games of 40 games, 45, whatever it was.
Right.
That they decided to move forward into the playoff format.
Yeah, that makes sense. On that note, when we return, is Snyder the new man for the Me Too movement? We're going to talk a little bit. What was that, Tom? I'm sorry. I couldn't help it. You'll know more about that when we return. Also, today in sports history. Also, Central Arkansas reports no positive test after playing season opening game. Quarterback controversy with the Chicago Bears, and we are putting Tom and Hank up against each other again this week. But it's a pop culture thing because Tom seems to think anybody that picks food are out of their minds and it's not real. All that and more after these words.
We all want to win championships. We all want to be the best. We all want it to be our time. The difference between imagining the future and being the future is what you do to get there. Only you can make you better.
We are back. If you're just joining us, it is the Tuesday night edition of the Sports Today with DW Sports Edition. Turn that TV off. I've had enough about the Mets for the first 48 minutes.
The Islanders. The Islanders.
Okay.
We should have a dark side of Tom.
The dark side of Tom. Tom after dark. If you
what do you
missed
mean dark side? I'm happy. You see me grinning from ear to ear right now?
I do. If you missed the first half of the show, pretty much, go back to the audio version because I don't think we've ever had Tom so happy since even the first day I said, hey, Tom, you want to come on the sports segment? Oh, my God, I get to talk an hour about sports instead of 5 minutes. I'm in.
I don't think I've ever heard him say the F-bomb.
Yeah, that too. Or dirty pig. What the hell?
Dirty. Was it dirty stuff? Was it dirty pig or rotten pig?
Oh, rotten pig. Yeah, no, rotten
pig. Well, let's get off some baseball news. Let's go into controversy with the Chicago Bears, Hank. What's going on with this?
Apparently, Nagy, the head coach of Chicago Bears, he's been asked who will be the starting quarterback come week one. He refuses to divulge any information. So if everybody knows, you've got Nick Foles, who was just signed there, and then you've got Trubisky, Mitch Trubisky. Yeah. So in my feelings on this whole thing is it's got to be I would go with Nick Foles. I'm sorry.
What would be the reasoning for not naming the starter?
I think he doesn't want a controversy. I don't.
What is the controversy?
Well, because you've got Trubisky, who's been there for the last 2 seasons that they drafted, and then you bring in
how's
Nick
his
Foles.
performance?
Not bad. I'm not it's horrible. I just
so then screw the controversy.
Right,
Put the better player up.
but it's the thing of that you bring in somebody new, you don't just make that transition unless that was the case. It's like, you bring in, Cam Newton to Tom Brady. Tom Brady's going to play. But again, that's not the same scenario because you've got Mitch Trubisky who's not playing. He's playing good, but it's not getting the Bears anywhere. Nick Foles is proven when he comes in and takes over for somebody that he can play the game, and he knows the game. He did that with the Eagles.
So they're just trying to be they're trying to be PC right now. They don't want to name. They're going to have to announce it to game day. I mean,
you don't win games and being politically correct.
I'm not disagreeing with you, but
the politically correctness does not work on the football field. It's a game.
We ever hear them talk on the field?
Well, listen, and it's not. But the thing is that you've got a quarterback in Nick Foles that took the Philadelphia Eagles to the Super Bowl and won it because he came in and for what's his name?
Why else would the Bears hire him or pick him? He's going to start. I mean, that's kind of like a no-brainer, wouldn't it be?
Tom?
No, sorry. No, it's like I think the reason he didn't name him is because like when you draft Mitch, like they drafted Mitch Trubisky really high. Like the quarterbacks that were taken after Trubisky are Deshaun Watson and Patrick Mahomes. Okay, two of the best quarterbacks in the entire league. So yeah, the right play is probably to play Nick Foles. But Matt Nagy's not going to say that because one, he doesn't want to disparage Trubisky at all because he's been there for a while. Nagy was there when Trubisky was there. And like I said, it's a first round pick. So maybe what he's doing is trying to light a fire under Trubisky's ass saying, yo, look, we got another guy in here that can easily take this job. Like, show me something. Like he's not naming a starter. So maybe Trubisky shows him something. And what he's going to show him is that he should probably start Nick Foles. That's what Trubisky's going to wind up showing him. Right. Even though I'm not really sold on Nick Foles either. I mean, yeah, he took Philly to the Super Bowl. I get that. Carson Wentz took him most of the way. And, every place other than Philly that Foles went to, he was subpar. I mean,
but wasn't Nagy a quarterback? The head coach of the Chicago Bears, Nagy, was a quarterback.
I think so, yeah.
Okay, so guess if you look at everything in progression, Nick Foles was at the Eagles, and he was coached by a former quarterback.
Yeah.
Okay. I think that if they give him the right weapons and the right tools in Chicago, and they put Nick Foles as a starting quarterback, that he's going to take them to the playoffs.
Okay.
I think, and I'm a Packers fan. Everybody knows that. I think they're going to be fighting for the division again.
Yeah.
And I just know that they've got the right stuff there. They have the tools.
Yeah.
Nick Foles knows how to take and exploit that and use those weapons against somebody else. He did that with the Eagles, but he also had a quarterback that was his coach. And they kind of progressed together, and he took it. I just don't, Carson Wentz, I wasn't sold on Carson Wentz. I wasn't sold on Trubisky. I wasn't sold on Johnny Manziel when he first came out. You can't draft those guys up and then not expect them to play the game. And you shouldn't put them in a format where they have to start week 1 of their first season as a rookie. You should have somebody that's there that kind of teaches them and brings them up to par.
I can agree with I could definitely agree with that. It's just the way I look at it is like, Foles is probably the better play. I'm not convinced that Foles is going to be the one that takes him to the promised land or takes him into the playoffs regularly because Foles did work with the quarterback's coach in Philly and stuff like that. I get that. But every place else, granted, it was only 2 other places. It was St. Louis and Kansas City. Both places Foles was, and 3 places. Kansas City, St. Louis, Kansas City, and then Jacksonville. All 3 of those places, I know Foles got hurt in Jacksonville. He was, for the most part, subpar. The only time we saw a really good Nick Foles was in Philly. That's, for the most part, it. And I don't really know. Like, I know what's going to make the Bears good is their defense. Like the offense is not going to be the stellar point of the Bears football game. No, it's going to be their defense keeping them in games, and hopefully their offense can score enough points to keep.
That's the problem, though. They haven't been able to score the points. They haven't been able to put the points on the board.
And I'm not convinced with no weapons, because the Bears don't really have many, to my knowledge. Nick Foles is going to even be able to do that, because I think he's won a Super Bowl, so I can't really disparage him too much.
Have some pretty good receivers and a running back. It's just, but the thing is that, I mean, look what Nick Foles had with Philly. I mean, they had gotten rid of a lot of players at the time, and Carson Wentz, like I said, I wasn't sold on Carson Wentz. When Nick Foles went in there and took them to the promised land and did what he did, I cannot believe that the following year they released him.
Yeah, because I think it's because they paid Carson Wentz as much as they did. Like, that dude was already making big time money. Being
politically again, it's the politically correct. It's the way I feel about it, because we gave him a lot of money and we can't have him as the second backup or the backup. Well, I got news for you. You were injured, and now look, you got injured again.
All right, let me ask you this though: should the Giants have started Jeff Hostetler instead of Phil Simms after Hostetler took him to the Super Bowl? No, they should have started. Should the Giants have stuck with Jeff Hostetler after he won them a Super Bowl, or just went back to Phil Simms?
Yeah, but how many games did Hostetler play before?
That's fair. That's fair.
That was the thing.
Yeah.
Phil Simms. Yeah, it's you got to look at it like that. And the thing is that Nick Foles came in and took over for Wentz, who was supposedly the golden child for Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah. And,
he was getting it done, but he was doing it to a point where he was risking his injuries and things like that. He's injury prone.
Yeah.
And they had to see that, because I think he was injured like twice before that. And then the second one being the most drastic. But Nick Foles comes in and takes over, and, he was smart because he's a seasoned quarterback.
Yeah.
Nick Foles just he got it, and the team gelled around him. And you have to find that continuity as in a football team, and as in any sport, you have to find a continuity. Well, that was there. They found it with him. The players believed in him, and he just kept going and going and going. And then all of a sudden, you got Wentz in the background on the sideline watching, and everybody kept going. It was like the playoffs and every round, and then going into the Super Bowl, they're all like sitting there going. It was still a controversy of, well, when they're done, if they win this game, is what's going to go on with Carson Wentz. Well, I got news for you. I would have sat there and said, first thing, if he wins, if this team wins the Super Bowl, I'm sticking with him, because he went and started week 2, 3 or something like that, and went all the way through and took him to the promised land to win the Super Bowl. You got a ring on your hand and you got a big paycheck. He brought you there.
That's it. Well, Foles didn't start the whole year though that they won the Super Bowl. Wentz went out. I think Wentz went out a little more than halfway through the year. I think. Like, Wentz went out towards the end of the season. Like, Philly was ready to wrap up a division, I think, if I remember correctly.
I thought he went out in the beginning of the game, like 2 or 3 games into the season.
Oh, hold on. I actually don't remember what year. That was 2018. Did Philly win? Was that the year, or was it 2017? It
was 18.
2018. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to pull that up quick enough. But I just, the thing is like, I understand he won a Super Bowl, and like, I should respect Nick Foles a lot more than I'm actually am. I just don't feel like he's going to be the guy that makes the Bears great or makes the Bears good. Like, he might make them passable. Like, they might win a couple extra games, maybe, but I just don't think Nick Foles is amazing. Like, I don't think he's some transcendent quarterback. I think he caught lightning in a bottle with Philly. And that's what happened. I'm
not saying he's an amazing quarterback. I'm saying that with the situation that he was in,
yeah,
he fit with those group of players to get where they got and win the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
That's the thing. He was a perfect fit for them. He wasn't a perfect fit for the Rams. He wasn't a perfect fit for this one. And that's the thing. It's like, you have to find that one guy that's your leader that's the perfect fit. For instance, look at Bledsoe and Brady. Brady didn't write off, Bledsoe got hurt. Brady comes in and takes the role and starts doing it. You don't go back. You're not going to go back to Bledsoe, and they didn't.
True. That's very true. No, and ultimately just to get back to your original question, I think it's going to be Foles' team, and that's pretty much it. Mitchell Trubisky's really bad. Matt Nagy didn't want to embarrass Mitchell Trubisky on live television or in a press conference because the dude was a very highly picked quarterback, has been the Bears quarterback for the past like 3 years, I think 3-4 years now. So he didn't want to just make everybody think that didn't mean anything. So he's going to say, all right, these guys got to earn it. And when Sunday comes, Nick Foles, my prediction, and I'm assuming Hank's prediction too, Nick Foles will be the quarterback of the Chicago Bears. That's what's going to happen. Trubisky will be right at the bench holding the clipboard.
It's a much touchier issue now because there is no preseason.
True.
Right?
Yeah.
You're in it now. It's no like you can't dip your foot in the cold water to see if it's cold. Yeah. You're sitting there, you're putting your foot completely in. So
yeah, no, you're absolutely right.
I do. I think it's going to be Nick Foles. I think he's going to go with Nick Foles to start.
Do you think though that it's going to be it's going to be a little bit of a problem, being that Nick Foles isn't going to have that, like this is his first year with the Chicago Bears, so he's not going to have the preseason. He's not going to have anything other than training camp to like learn the Bears system, learn how the players are going to break it. Like all he's probably been doing is going against the Bear defense, which is great because the Bear defense is really good. But do you think it's going to hurt Nick Foles because he's never played in a real game under the Bears offense? Trubisky has, though. Not amazingly well, but he has.
He may start Trubisky and then see where it goes. If he doesn't seem like it's getting done, then he may switch it out.
Because that might be hard. Like Nick Foles is basically going to be coming into the Bears offense. His first game for the Bears is going to mean something. Like usually you get maybe the first 2 or 3 games of the preseason, you're in for a drive or two. You can at least see, get a feel for things in a real game. His first real game experience is going to be Sunday. These
guys still get butterflies. I don't care. These guys, I don't care if they've been in the season for 10 seasons or playing for 10 seasons. They still get butterflies before kickoff. You're going to get it. And I guarantee you, Trubisky's going to have the butterflies, even though he knows the offense and he knows what he's going up against. He's still going to get the butterflies, and he's going to be nervous because, again, like we've been saying, there's no preseason.
Totally.
All right. Well, on that note, let's get into Tom's on a high today. Tom's just all vigor and just like, wow. We need to have him stop drinking the competitor's drink on camera. But other than that, well, damn it, Tom. I got to go out and just get an entire case of Body Armor. That's what I got to do. We got to keep sending to you, or just get an unmarked bottle of something. Get a water bottle or something.
Sorry, I think I left it.
By the way, thank you to Body Armor for being our sponsor for today and every Today with DW. DrinkBodyArmor.com. That's right there on Tom's hat and right here on my shirt. Visit drinkbodyarmor.com for a location near you with all their great sports drinks, sport waters, which are also, I haven't tried them yet, but I'm dying to try them. Tammy Chikasis says, Hank, when are you going to mention number 8 Ravens, sister-in-law watching here?
Oh, my sister-in-law, Tammy.
Yes.
She's a Ravens fan?
She's a huge Ravens fan. She lives right there in Baltimore.
Lamar Jackson's an animal.
So nothing? You got nothing?
What do you want me to say about it?
I guess number 8, not to mention number 8.
I mean, I was reading something up on him. They were talking about that they put a lot more running plays into him. And the thing is that, I mean, Tom, I don't know how many Ravens games you watch with him, but he, me as somebody that's played on the line, stuff like that, it's the broken plays. It's the broken runs. When they start doing the actual running plays and stuff like that, certain things have to happen in front of him to do it. He's more of a, go back, stand in the pocket, all of a sudden stuff breaks down and turns around and says, hey, I got to run this way. And that's where the best runners for quarterbacks. I mean, you look at him and Randall Cunningham. God, I can't even tell you some of the scramblers, but he's probably one of the better scramblers.
Totally. Like I wanted the Giants to draft Lamar Jackson 2 or 3 years ago. I wanted them to trade back. They got him. I think the Ravens took him either right before the Giants pick or it was like right after the Giant pick. I wanted Lamar Jackson on the Giants so bad. It never happened, but he's going to
everybody badmouthed him.
Yeah, everybody said he should be a wide receiver or running back. And now the dude's on the cover of Madden and was, I think, the MVP last year. So, like,
well, that's not a good thing. I don't know. I know that Madden curse.
The Madden curse. I used to say that too, but the Madden curse got broken a few years ago. I mean, like, there have been a few guys that survived the injuries of being on the Madden cover. But no, Lamar Jackson's a beast, and he's going to be probably a top 10 pick in everybody's fantasy leagues. He won't make it out of the first round.
Well, there you go, Tammy. You got your shout out. Thanks for watching. Let's get right into it. Tom has been eager tonight. He's been enthusiastic. This will probably be, if anybody misses this episode, because it'll probably be the last time we see Tom this excited.
Uncle Stevie is here to save me. I'm going to be a happy person now. I'm telling you.
Wouldn't it be funny if Uncle Stevie showed up here and we didn't tell Tom and we were like, hey, I'd be like, F you guys, I'm out. Kim, what's going on? What's going on, Kim?
Hey, Kim.
Grindhouse Radio. But right now, let's start today in sports history. Today's sports history is brought to you by Adventure Family Fun Center in Queensbury, New York. They are family run and owned. You know, I should be able to say this without reading this since I've done this probably for 10 weeks in a row. They are family run and owned, so they know the importance of family fun. With indoor, outdoor go-karts, laser tag, paintball, arcade games, and more, Adventure Family Fun Center is the place to be. Now, guys, they're open 7 days a week. They are meeting all the COVID-19 policies and procedures. Hank's talking with them 3 or 4 times a week. We've done their go-karts numerous times. That's what's open right now. Awesome go-karts. We got a deal for you being a listener or fan at Earplug Podcast Network. When you go up to the go-kart counter, go to say DWSE. It's DWSE. And then you'll receive 6 tickets for $35. Now, that's $10 off the regular price. And if you go on the website, yes, it's a 5-minute ride. And I sound like a broken record, but I'm telling you, it's the longest, most fun 5 minutes you have. And if you can't get 6 friends, then get 2 and go 3 times each. I mean, and
you're on the cart,
right? You have to wear a mask everywhere else, but you don't have to wear a mask while you're wearing on the go-kart. But again, grab your friends, family. It's a safe environment. I've been there 3 times now. I know from experience, not because they're just an advertiser, that they are safe, and they're willing to work with you, talk with you. If you have any questions, contact them on their website, adventurefamilyfun.com. Or if you go up there, you know, if Justin's there, the owner, if you have any questions, they'll be more than happy to help you out. And we're still trying to work out a deal to get Kim up here, and as well as Tom soon. It's September. We need him up here soon. We got to get him up here. So here is today in sports history. Tom doesn't have an intro because we're redoing it, so we'll just let the crowd go. And it's all you, Mr. Greer.
So I didn't have as much backstory to a lot of these because there were like 7 things that I thought were pretty big today. Yep. So I'm going to rifle down all the big events that happened in sports history. And I feel like they were pretty awesome. So starting off 1931, future Baseball Hall of Famer Lou Gehrig hits his 3rd Grand Slam in 4 days and his 6th home run in consecutive games. The Yankees beat the Red Sox 5-1. 3 Grand Slams in 4 days is absolutely amazing. I don't know. I think the only thing that might be more impressive than that is the San Diego Padres this year hitting like a Grand Slam one every day for like 4 days. That was pretty amazing as a team. Moving along, we got 1971, Pittsburgh Pirates start what is to believe the first all-black lineup, and included a few Latin players in MLB history in a 10-7 win over the Philadelphia Phillies. That also included the Hall of Famers Roberto Clemente and Willie Stargell. 1972, we're getting chess in here, so chess apparently counts as sports.
Now, of course, you lead up the first 4, where first 3, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, with baseball, but okay,
hey, it's not my fault that Bobby Fischer decided to play chess after the Pittsburgh Pirates started the first all African American lineup. So, American chess grandmaster Bobby Fischer beats Russian champion Boris Spassky in Reykjavik. I'm assuming Reykjavik, Iceland. Most publicized world title event ever published. It was Fischer's is the first American to win the title. So
on top of the fact too that I did a little more, and I watched searching for Bobby Fischer and read up on some of him too. 11 wins, 1 loss, no draws. He is still to this day the strongest chess player in the world. I mean, he passed away 2008, I think. He was 64. Obviously, he died in Iceland, but he was very political and had he was not a good interviewer. Let's just put it this way. If you ever listen to any of his radio or anything, He is very political, very opinionated, and he's a recluse. He never really got out much.
Isn't that why everybody thought he was missing?
What's that?
Isn't that why everybody thought he was missing?
Yeah, he was a recluse. He stayed in Iceland. In 1992, he came out of a long seclusion for a $5 million rematch against his old nemesis, Boris Speksky. The match in Yugoslavia commemorated the 20th anniversary of the two men's monumental meeting in Reykjavik and Mr. Fisher's most glorious triumph. So, but again, he's been arrested for invalid passports. He was detained in prison for 9 months while the various governments and his supporters in chess who tried to resolve the issue. He was just an a-hole. But I mean, he was one of the best chess players in the world. And I think nobody's ever been able to beat his record. So
I would have never beat him. I
can't play chess.
play
I can't play chess.
I can't beat the computer in chess. Last couple is 15-year-old, and this is 1987. 15-year-old American tennis player Michael Chang becomes the youngest man to win matches at the U.S. Open when he beats Australian Paul McNamee in 4 sets in the opening round. That's crazy. A 15-year-old winning something at the U.S. Open is absolutely unheard of. I thought it was crazy that NHL players start at 19 years old. This dude won a major tennis tournament at 15, a game at a major tennis tournament at 15.
Well, look at this. Fisher was 13 and he was winning his major chess playing too. I mean, so there you go.
That's chess.
He started skating at 4. Maybe even earlier.
Facts, absolutely. 1989, Chris Evert becomes the first player ever to win 100 matches in the U.S. National/Open Tennis Championship by beating Patricia Tarabina 6-2 and 6-4. And last two, 1999, ex-Pittsburgh Penguins star Mario Lemieux is approved as the new owner of the struggling franchise. Penguins become the first club in pro sports history to be owned by a former member of the team. And I hate the Penguins ever since. Last one, 2001, facing 4-time Cy Young Award winner Greg Maddux, Cubs slugger Sammy Sosa hits the longest home run in Turner Field history as his 53rd of the season. It travels 471 feet to straightaway center field, dead center.
Damn. And that is today in sports history of Mr. Tom Greer.
Sammy Sosa forgot how to speak English in court.
Oh my God.
And is also apparently a vampire. Have you ever seen him?
You're on fire today, Tom. You're on fire.
And fuego.
Steve Cohen, your biggest fans right here today.
I can't even take that title. Us as a Mets fan collective are Steve Cohen's biggest fan.
Oh my God! Now it's
Stevie.
So
He's
bad.
Uncle Stevie.
Oh my God!
Uncle Stevie.
Now it's a revolution. First it was one man. Now it's the whole family. Jesus Christ!
Yep. All of us. We're ready to kick the Wilpons out of Queens. Get out of here.
Tom's going to lead the charge. It's going to be like the Walking Dead baseball bats and shit coming over to their house.
We're going to be the baseball Furies from the Warriors.
As we wind down every sports episode, there is no El Snacko because I think he's snacking this week or he's prepping for his next WWE match in Mexico. Maybe he's going to make an appearance there. We always try to do some non-sports segments. Tom went really hard on the Mets segment, so that was a long baseball segment. There's got to be a day. I'm just going to make one that we're not talking baseball. Nothing big can happen.
In a couple weeks, baseball's going to be over soon.
Of course. It's going to be baseball.
September 4th, no more baseball. It's the NFL, baby. That's all we're talking. And we still got to squeeze in cornhole. We still find a way to squeeze in cornhole. But anyway, so right now, if you guys have listened to any past sports editions, I pit the guys against each other and some rankings, some polls. The last 3 or the last 5, because it's 3-2, Tom's in the lead. We're pretty much food. Now you would think Snacks. His name is Snacks, right? Right? I'm listening. Yeah, I don't have cricket soundtrack.
I did win the barbecue one.
The man's name is Snacks. You'd think that he'd beat Tom, but he hasn't beaten Tom. And then at the same time, Tom says these people that are on these polls are idiots. So, I mean, the man isn't even a gracious winner.
Well, listen, the sports one, the first one, that was a tough one. I get it. I understand. But really, both of you could not get Muhammad Ali as the number 1. Seriously? Oh, you skipped right over it.
Bo Jackson is almost a Hall of Famer in 2 sports.
Yeah.
Well, obviously, it didn't mean much to those 2,700 people.
People that didn't know who Bo Jackson was.
Oh, Bo Jackson knows. Bo knows. Bo knows he didn't get on that poll.
People know who Herschel Walker is right now because he's making headlines everywhere.
I hear it.
Was Muhammad Ali the broken character in Tecmo Bowl? No, Bo Jackson was.
All right, I'll give you the win. That one. All right, so I'm going to change it up for you, gentlemen, as we wind down tonight's sports episode. I hope you guys are enjoying yourselves.
Always.
So I've decided, because I've been listening to GHR so much, Grindhouse Radio. Check them out over in the Earplug Podcast Network. No free advertising, but what the hell? They're a family. There's no advertising. We are family. We are the collective. We are stronger than any Mets collective out there, and we have a winning record. So I don't know what the hell's going on, but I know
it's broken. We're a broken bunch.
Yes. But anyway, check out Grindhouse Radio every Sunday on the Earplug Podcast Network. Also Thursdays on grindhouseradio.com, I believe. Is that right? Grindhouseradio.com?
Basically anywhere you could find a podcast on Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern
So
Standard.
if you missed it Thursday, we'll get it back up on Tuesday, or on Sunday, but they're always on anywhere on your favorite podcast.
If you're a big Disney fan, every Monday, me and Kim do a Disney podcast.
The Magic Kim Tom.
Oh boy.
Is it live or is it recorded?
It's recorded.
Okay, I'll make sure to pump that too. I forgot about your Mondays.
It's okay. Just I realized that I realized that for right now. I'm sorry, Kim, if you're still watching. I didn't even mention that. I've never mentioned that before.
Nice. Okay, here we go. So I decided to change it up since I've been listening again to GHR a lot and finding Tom's vast knowledge of pop culture. So he is the youngest of the three of us, and I wish I could play this, but maybe one day we'll bring in my assistant producer Seth, and he could run this, and the three of us can go, and then I'll demolish you all. So then, no, I'm just kidding. So I'm going to put today. It's going to be the top 10 best 80s movies. Now,
I'm so gonna lose.
oh shit,
I'm 1,000% gonna lose.
you can't be that young.
Oh, it's not that I'm that young. It's just that like I there's a lot of movies that I just don't know. Like there's like
I'm putting you on this pedestal of listening to
I'm
GHR for 3 weeks.
knocking my own self down. I am
You're
knocking
going
myself
first.
off the pedestal.
So Hank decided, since you just called yourself out, you're going first. So okay. Top 10. Now, Tom has argued pretty much since the first game we played that everybody that have done these polls, and they're all averaging around 25 to 2,700 people, are idiots. So now if Tom decides to tell that these 19.9 thousand people are wrong, that did 522.7 thousand votes are wrong and idiots, there's going to be hell to pay here. Today.
I cannot call these people wrong because I am an uncultured swine when it comes to 80s movies. I can't.
Oh boy. Oh no, you can't either. Okay. So Tom, you are up now. 80s movies.
Okay, I got one right off the rip. Goonies.
Boom, number 3.
Let's go. I got one at least. That's probably the only one I get.
and everybody listening, Hank is finally in the studio. And I know Tom's got multiple screens and he's fast with his fingers, but he does not cheat. I want you to know that he does not cheat, and he's not Googling, even though he's up 3-2. Now, if he did cheat, he should be 5-0 at this point, but he's not. But I'm not.
I'm an honest man.
Okay. Hank.
Beverly Hills Cop.
I need music when I scroll through this thing. You are number 12. Number 12.
I'm going to be the one that tells these 19,000 people that they don't know their butt.
Okay. You get a 0 on that round. All right. It's 5 rounds. All right. We're going in the round 2. Tom.
Police Academy. Is that 80s?
Yes.
Police Academy. I need music for this when I'm doing this. Police Academy is dun 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 dun.
I was gonna say I'm expecting a burnt.
Not even in the top. Whoops. Not even in the top 20.
All right. I mean, I'm not gonna complain.
Okay.
You ready?
I'm ready for you.
Tootsie. What?
Hank's gonna be the one bitching about this. Tom, you could win this. I mean,
I think this is still 80. Dirty Dancing.
Dirty's Dancing. Was that in the 80s?
Was that in the? I have no idea
If that was actually in the 80s or not.
Okay. I got the next one. I got my next one.
That is a no. It is not even on the list.
Now, is it cheating if I check to see if a movie I'm thinking came out in the 80s?
Yes,
it is cheating. Okay, fine.
yes.
I won't look.
So this is round 3. Tom
Breakfast
is still
Club.
Tom is still in the lead.
That's a good one.
Tom is in the lead. Dun, 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 dun. What'd you say?
The Breakfast Club.
What is that movie?
Oh,
The
dude.
Breakfast Club. That's a great movie.
I know that movie. I love that movie because it is number 4. We are now into round 4, tied 1-1.
Okay. Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Number 1.
Let's
Bueller was number 1.
Yes.
Ferris
All right.
Bueller, you're my hero.
He was a Mets fan too, I think. No, just kidding.
I don't know. I actually don't know.
Here's one for the Shadow. Lost Boys.
Oh, you know what?
That's a good one.
We're checking our numbers. We are checking that it is.
Oh, you got to be.
It's not, and I will agree with you. That's not even in the top 20.
80s movie.
It's number 23. Okay, last round.
Crap.
Tom is up 2-1.
I gotta think of another 80s movie right now. Crap. Gremlins. Was Gremlins 80s?
Ooh, yes, I do believe you are correct that it was in the 80s. And
I think I just thought of one.
All right, Hank, you gotta get this one to tie it up so we can have a tiebreaker here.
American Werewolf in London.
Oh, that's a definitely not even in the top 23.
You got to be kidding me.
All right. Do we want to run them down, gentlemen? Tom is now up 4-2 in the Today with DW Sports Edition.
19,000 people were wrong.
I got to get some background music for here. I had the Jeopardy one, but YouTube's really kicking my ass on these copyright laws. So I got to really be careful with this. We could play this. Oh, no, that can't play that either. Let's get ready to rumble, though. That would be good to start it. But anyway, so Tom is up 4-2. So let's do the rundown for those. And I got to thank everybody that was watching. It's probably because Jack Celeste isn't on, spanning them out in the comments below. So everybody was good that nobody put them out in the comments because I don't want to block anybody. How your Islanders doing there, Tom?
It is 0-0. First period's over.
All right. Live right here. We're getting play-by-play action. All right. Your top 10. Tom got Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Number 1. You, of all people. Number 2, Star Wars. The Empire Strikes Back.
Wow.
It's number 2, 1980. Number 3, Goonies, Tom got. Number 4, Breakfast Club, you got. The two of you, Back to the Future, 1985. What is wrong with the two of you?
Yep, dope. Big dope. Big dope.
Okay, number 6, you would get this, Tom might not, Princess Bride.
Oh, I love that movie.
1987.
Love that movie.
Okay. Cobra Kai, baby, all over Netflix. Karate Kid, 1984. Number 7.
Wow, I'm ashamed of myself.
I'll be back. The Terminator, number 8, 1984. Number 9, come on. A great kids movie. Awesome. American coming-of-age comedy, drama, adventure. Directed by Rob Reiner, starring Will Wheaton. Stand By Me, 1986. Number 9.
Stand By Me better than Lost Boys or Beverly Hills Cop.
All right. And lastly, to round out number 10, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation for 1989.
I can't complain.
That one I can.
Okay. Honorable mentions, number 11, Back to the Future Part 2. Beverly Hills Cops, number 12. Star Wars, Return of the Jedi, number 13. Big, number 14. Top Gun, made it in the top 15. Indiana Jones.
Not in Dan Miner's book.
Yeah, Dan Miner does not like Top Gun or Tom Cruise. But anyway, everybody, thank you so much. Tom, you're killing it. 4-2. I don't know how to rig this for you. I tried to rig this for him because I figured he would know this.
I'm ashamed of myself that I didn't get some of those ones like that. That is the first list we've done that I cannot complain about. All those movies that were in that top 10, fantastic movies.
And Hank's like, you fuck them all.
I'm trying to figure out how 19,000 people are stupid.
We could come up with that. Could be a whole podcast. We could have a whole podcast. We could
be talking about emojis.
We did.
I know,
and it was awesome.
I I know what every color heart does now.
Well, that's good. Did you know how many? I didn't know
No,
there was. I just see. There you go.
I would have said that the brown heart was for something else. But
The more you know.
It was the more than I knew.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us on this extra, the hour and a half edition that we are keeping going. Hour and a half. We might have to do something special as NFL comes in, because I've had to listen to Tom talk about baseball for 5 weeks. I think we're going to do a 2-hour NFL edition and no baseball. No, I won't do that to you, Tom. I promise.
We can. I mean, like, I'm not opposed to that. I'm not opposed to that for the opening. I mean, if we can get enough, we can scrounge up enough news and enough stuff to talk about. I could do an entire,
I'm sure that when the NFL kicks off, there will be more.
Oh, I'm sure there might. We might get one
have
5-minute segment of baseball and then COVID, NFL, COVID, NFL, COVID, NFL. Oh shit, COVID, NFL. Oh, season's over. No,
football's a religion. I fully respect that. If we wanted to do like a welcome to football kind of,
try to do that.
I'm totally with that.
Yeah, you want to do that?
I'm in.
What day is September 4th?
September 4th. Looking at September 4th is Friday. Is this Friday?
Ooh, boy.
And then the season starts on the 11th is the first game of the season. Oh no, 10th. Sorry, 10th. 10th is the first game of the season.
So you guys are always you always get behind the scenes talk while we're talking before we wind the show down. We'll put something together. We'll do an NFL blast or some sort. I'm sure baseball will sneak its way in here somehow. But we'll try to do something with the NFL and cornhole. Because I'm sure NFL players can play cornhole. I've heard that they can do a lot of things with holes lately, especially like sneaking their players in. But anyway, on that note, they weren't players. She wasn't a player. Yeah, I lost track on that one because I wanted to say something else, but I'm trying to keep it somewhat PG, NC-17 rated PG-13 here. But everybody, thank you so much for joining us. I will be back tomorrow at 7:00 with my assistant producer, Seth the Shadow Cooper, for today with DW. We don't know what's planned because he's the one that's doing all the planning now. He does all the planning now. He does all the show notes, and I do everything else. But this Thursday, I wanted to announce on this, we have a very, 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 very special guest.
What the Rock is cooking.
Seth Cooper Sr. is coming into the studio. Tim Cooper, Seth's dad, by my request, is coming into the studio Thursday, and Seth is nervous as shit.
Will there be Nerf guns included? If not, I have a nice one.
I got a big one that turns into 2. We could do that. I got one that turns into 2. I want more Nerf guns. I want to fill up the wall like an armory eventually. But anyway, Mr. Tim Cooper, the man, the myth behind Seth the Shadow Cooper. That's funny. How is he the shadow? The Tim would be. I don't even know what the shadow is. Only the shadow knows. He'll be joining us on Thursday, and Friday, as always, is the pop culture edition with Louis Perry. And eventually, I think we're going to have Mr. Tom Greer on Friday to pop in and give his take on some things, because
hell yeah, he
thought he was going to lose this, and he kicked your butt. But anyway, thank you again, everybody. Tom, enjoy your game. Hank, you have any final words besides saying that 19,000 people are idiots?
No, I have nothing else to say. I'm still shocked that the Beverly Hills Cop, Lost Boys, and are not where they should have been in the top.
I want to play with you guys now. I'm going to have Seth come in.
You know all this stuff.
Oh, the other day
I'm guessing off the movie.
You know what? I'll rig it for you both. I'll rig it for you, Hank. We'll do the top 16 skits on SNL.
Yeah, because you've never watched.
I watched maybe 3 episodes of that. I have no idea.
Sweaty balls is.
It's from South Park.
No.
Anyway,
do you think that came from?
I don't know. SNL. I'm not an SNL fan. All right, we gotta go. Tom's got a Twitch. We're out of here, everybody. Thank you so much, and we'll see you tomorrow.
This has been an Earplug podcast presentation. Found on earplugpodcast.com, iTunes, SoundCloud, and wherever your favorite podcasts are found.